in Bruton, Alabama, with meteorologist Spinks Meganson. Severe weather coverage starts right now.
A new tornado warning just now coming on the board for parts of Baldwin County here in southwest Alabama. This is a call to action for Fairhope, Point Clear, Daphne, and Montrose. Hope you're having a nice Saturday evening. Possible tornado is approaching Point Clear from the south, and this is yet another call to action, meaning we need you to take action to protect yourself if you are in Fairhope, Point Clear, areas near Daphne or Montrose. This is basically going to be moving north, paralleling Highway 98. And we need folks in Baldwin County along the eastern shore to take action right now, as we have a brand new tornado warning that has just been issued from the National Weather Service. Let's go ahead and tell you who's involved in the tornado warning polygon, because again, we are watching this cell currently out over Mobile Bay, and this was the look earlier. We actually had several tornado warnings earlier for parts of Mobile and Baldwin County. Here's the one that has just been issued, and this is in effect for southern Baldwin County, including the eastern shore. If you are in Fairhope, specifically downtown Fairhope, areas near Point Clear or the Grand Hotel, Daphne or Montrose, you are involved in this new tornado warning polygon, meaning you need to take action to protect yourself. US Highway 98, again, areas near the Grand Hotel, going to be first in line to see this possible tornado. Let's go over to the velocity view and we'll show you that this is a situation where we have a couplet out over Mobile Bay, and a couplet is an area of concern on radar that indicates rotation in the atmosphere. This is going to come into areas near Point Clear and Fairhope first and ultimately work its way to the north. And unlike the last cell that prompted a tornado warning for these same areas about 2 or 3 hours ago, this one is going to move into land areas here in Baldwin County. The other one kind of paralleled the shore out here over Mobile Bay and managed to stay offshore, but this one is different. This is going to come on land as a tornado and likely do some damage first near Point Clear before moving into Fairhope. Hopefully this thing will kind of fade away as it gets into Fairhope and Daphne north, and hopefully it will fade away as it comes on shore here near Point Clear even. But as of now, this signature is so tight and so pronounced that we very well could be seeing a potential tornado come on shore very near Point Clear over the next few minutes. The Weather Service having to trigger yet another tornado warning. We have had, I think we're up to now 12 tornado warnings over the last little bit. Let's turn on the reflectivity display here. And again, the call to action is for the eastern shore. Currently, if you are in Spanish Fort, this has nothing to do with you. So Spanish Fort and Malbus are okay. Bell Forest and Daphne are involved in the polygon. So if you're in the red zone in the polygon, you're involved in this new tornado warning that's valid until 9:30 p.m. Same thing in Montrose, same thing in Fairhope, and this includes the entirety of the city of Fairhope, Alabama. And what that means is if you have a Fairhope, Alabama mailing address, this pertains to you. I realize, it's obviously Saturday night. We got a lot going on here at all the venues downtown and across the eastern shore, but all of these areas need to be implementing their tornado safety plan now, as the cell is down here around Point Clear right now. Your possible tornado is going to be on the south side of this cell, south of Point Clear, moving up the pike just like this, basically paralleling US Highway 98. This is going to be the scenic route out here by the bay. Grand Hotel sits right there at Point Clear. This thing is going to pass very near, or perhaps just to the east of the Grand Hotel at Point Clear near the golf course out here over the next 2 to 3 minutes. And what that means is if you are anywhere in Fairhope, you are next in line to see this possible tornado come in from the south. It does not matter specifically where you are. If you are in the city limits of Fairhope, Alabama, do something about this. Make it happen. Get to a tornado safe place now, as we have this possible tornado to your south working its way in, moving off to the north at about 25 miles per hour. Again, working the situation in Baldwin County. Let's put this into motion because, again, the folks in Daphne, if you're in Daphne, you need to be taking action too, as this possible tornado down around Point Clear is going to move off to the north and ultimately be in Montrose and Daphne right after it comes through Fairhope. Let's actually go back over to the velocity display. I tell you, this has really ramped up over the last few frames and become strong on the velocity display here. That right there, in other words, where you see that red coming together with that lighter shade of green, that very well could be a tornado on the ground doing damage near or just south of the Grand Hotel in Point Clear, pushing off to the north. Let's back it up by just a frame or two, and you'll see that couplet is really, really strong, which indicates to me that we could have a tornado down coming into Point Clear. It's basically at the shoreline just to the south of Point Clear now. Let's look at our correlation coefficient. I don't see any debris that's being lofted into the sky, but a lot of these cells tonight have been fairly low-topped in nature, which means that we may not be getting an accurate representation of debris that's being lofted. And so with that said, we do note there's kind of an appendage here on the reflectivity product, and that leads me to believe that we've got air that's obviously circulating in a counterclockwise fashion, circulation right in through there, basically at the shoreline, coming into areas near the Grand Hotel, near Point Clear over the next few minutes. And again, everyone in Fairhope should be sheltered right now. Make it happen at Fairhope, Daphne, Montrose, Battles Wharf, be sheltered. Same thing at community of Houstonville, south of Fairhope. You need to be sheltered. And look, does not matter if you're on the western side of town, out by the bay. That would be areas like Fish River Grill, Sunset Point at Fly Creek Marina. Maybe you're on the eastern side of town, out by 181 or the Walmart or areas, just thinking about this area, you've got Billy's out there, you've got Mr. Spud's, you've got obviously the Walmart, the soccer complex, the Fairhope Soccer Complex on the south side of town, right in through here. Be sheltered, all right? Possible tornado coming in from the south, moving to the north at about 25 miles per hour. Just looking at our sources here to see if we have anything in the way of damage being reported near Point Clear. I do not see anything at the moment, but that doesn't mean that damage hasn't happened or necessarily won't happen, as we do have kind of a delay in the reporting here. You've got to be sheltered, no doubt about it. And look, it's nighttime. Don't try to go out and get a picture of this thing. The rain in this particular thunderstorm is quite heavy. And with that said, you are not going to see this tornado. The lightning output in this storm, here's your strike counter right up there. 18 strikes of lightning over the last 5 minutes in this one storm. And it looks like most of the lightning is happening out here on the eastern fringe of it, out of the tornado warning. By the way, if you're at Robertsdale, Summerdale, or Foley, you're not involved in the tornado warning. This is strictly for areas along the eastern shore, near Point Clear, near Fairhope, near Montrose. You are involved in the tornado warning, and you're in the call to action zone where you need to be making it happen, getting to the lowest floor of a site-built structure away from windows and doors. The idea here, we want you to put as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. In other words, if that tornado affects your house, you want to be insulated. You want to be inside as deep as you can get in that house, away from windows, as your possible tornado is basically at Point Clear right now near Scenic Highway 98, coming into Fairhope, moving just like that. This is going to come straight up the pike down here into downtown Fairhope. It's a Saturday night coming up on 9 o'clock. I would imagine that the hot spots downtown like McSherry's, Bone and Barrel, Red and White. You've also got areas near what was the Christmas bar downtown. I don't know what that is now, but it was Christmas bar. All those areas need to be sheltered in downtown Fairhope. Get near the middle part of the building. All the folks outside at the nightlife scene down there in downtown Fairhope, be inside and away from windows and away from doors, as obviously we've got very heavy rain, but also we've got an imminent tornado threat. And look, I've said it 500 times today. We've had so many warnings. I can stand up here for 17 hours straight and talk about tornadoes, but it does not matter one bit if folks aren't getting the message. And so I guarantee you there's folks right now in Fairhope, Montrose, and Daphne who did not, for whatever reason, get this tornado warning. You know, we got folks watching Netflix and all sorts of things going on right now. And so text your folks, all right? Text them, tag them in the comments below. That helps to push out this vital information that we could have a possible tornado coming into Point Clear, Fairhope, Montrose, Daphne, basically paralleling US Highway 98 now, right now, coming up on 9 o'clock. And we're tracking this storm in Baldwin County. While we look at that, let's also go out across the region and kind of show you what's happening. This has been a situation where all of the issues thus far today have happened in Mobile and Baldwin counties. We have not had tornado warnings in any of our other counties. There is an active severe thunderstorm warning for northern Washington County, including places like Milry and the Public Lake up here in northern Washington County. But the tornado warnings so far in our local area have been in Mobile and Baldwin counties. And again, the one tornado warning that we've got going on as of 8:59 p.m. is for this cell in Baldwin County at Point Clear, right there. That is a couplet on radar, and that is indicative of a tornado that could be down very near the golf course at Point Clear, very near the Grand Hotel, coming into Battles Wharf, coming into Houstonville, coming into downtown Fairhope. You're about to have a major population increase in through here in terms of the total number of people that this potential tornado could be affecting. And so that's why we're telling you, if you know anyone that would be in the city limits of Fairhope, Alabama, what do? You call them, you text them, you tag them now, and let them know that we could have an imminent tornado threat coming in from the south. Let's go back over to the classic reflectivity view here. And it has been a long night, and unfortunately, we are not done with this yet. And I don't want to say we're far from over, but I do think that we could have a few more warnings, especially down here in coastal Alabama, specifically in areas south of Interstate 10 in Mobile and Baldwin counties. This is your main batch of storms tonight. So once this broken line of thunderstorms passes through your location, moving off to the east, you'll get an all clear. We're not there yet. We could have some more warnings along this main line, but the storms out ahead of the line have been the ones that have been problematic over the last few hours. I tell you, that velocity view is certainly, something that you don't like to see. This is an area of rotation on radar at Point Clear, at Battles Wharf, at Houstonville, coming into Fairhope along Highway 98, along Scenic Highway 98, near the golf course, near the Grand Hotel, coming into downtown Fairhope right now. Looking like this will be more of an issue for areas in Fairhope proper, perhaps just to the say west of 181, which is over here. Again, 181 is here. This is US Highway 98 right here. Be sheltered in those areas. If you're in the city limits of Fairhope, if you've got a Fairhope, Alabama mailing address, you be sheltered. Don't play with this thing. And we want you to put something on your head. A tornado helmet is the best possible thing that you can do in a tornado situation like this. And look, this also, we've been talking about Fairhope and Point Clear, but let's not forget this warning does go all the way up here to Montrose and Daphne. Again, that's US Highway 98. This is going to be 104 right here. And if you are, let's say, south of the Target and the Chick-fil-A and areas near Taziki's there at Daphne, points south, you're involved in this tornado warning polygon. Same thing out here on the shores, the eastern shore of Mobile Bay. Certainly no Jubilee tonight, as we've got a heavy rainstorm happening, along with a possible tornado out here on the south side of this thing. And I tell you, if there's a tornado down, I hope there's not, because this is coming into a highly populated zone in Fairhope, Alabama. Let's zoom in tight, because again, this hook kind of tells the tale. Zoomed in real tight here. Again, that's US Highway 98. This is going to be downtown Fairhope right here. This is this is Point Clear, I should say. Here's Point Clear, Grand Hotel, Battles Wharf. Just thinking about this area, you've got the main eating places downtown. You've got the post office. You've got the Walmart out here on the eastern side of town on 181, technically involved in this tornado warning, although it does look like this is going to be more of an issue for downtown as opposed to areas out here on the east side near 181. So again, looking more like a situation that's going to be an issue for areas to the west of Highway 98, closer to the actual eastern shore of Mobile Bay. That's the hook echo that we're tracking. This storm could be producing a tornado at Fairhope, Alabama now, and it can't be stressed enough. If you know someone in Fairhope, text them, tag them in the comments below, call them, let them know that we have an imminent danger zone here where we could see a possible tornado coming in. By the way, if you're at Barnwell, we'll give you a temporary tornado all clear. And I say temporary because the threat is not over. The overall threat is not, the imminent threat is, but the overall threat tonight is not over just yet. Very heavy rain coming into Magnolia Springs, into Barnwell, into areas near 98, near Weeks Bay over the next few minutes. All of this mess is under severe limits. The tornado threat is up here at Fairhope, coming into areas ultimately near Montrose and Daphne. And by the way, this does include Bell Forest. Malbus is out. Malbus is up here closer to the interstate. Bell Forest is in. You've got the new Bell Forest School. If you live there, you're in the tornado warning polygon. Same thing at Daphne. Again, basically from the Target and the Chick-fil-A south on US Highway 98. Those are the areas in Daphne involved in the tornado warning. Spanish Fort is out. If you're at Spanish Fort or Malbus or areas up here near Bromley along 225, you're out. You're not involved in this tornado warning polygon. You may be later in the next few minutes if this thing holds its strength, but as of now, Daphne, Bell Forest, Montrose, Fairhope are the communities involved in this imminent tornado threat. Again, we're zoomed in real tight on Mobile Bay. Let's go back over to the iPad view and show you that your circulation appears to be right over Fairhope at this point. And unfortunately, some disturbing news. The National Weather Service is upgrading this to a confirmed tornado tag. In other words, when they issue these tornado warnings, what they have to do is kind of specify, is this a radar indicated tornado? Is it a confirmed tornado? And in this case, we are seeing confirmation that we have a tornado being spotted near the Grand Hotel doing damage. And so again, this is a tornado on the ground coming into Fairhope. Be sheltered now if you're in Fairhope. Again, we know that there's a tornado down. We have a visual confirmation. Someone has seen this tornado at Point Clear coming into areas near Fairhope. And we need folks in Fairhope to be sheltered now, right now. Take this seriously. Don't play with this thing. I realize that, it's Saturday night. We all want to be out having fun. I get that, but no fun right now. We need to be in your tornado hiding place in Fairhope. This is serious stuff, all right? You need to take it very seriously, as the Weather Service is calling this a confirmed tornado at Fairhope, right over Fairhope right now. And again, I don't say that to scare anyone, but we got so many folks who don't do anything when we have a tornado warning, and we need you to take action as we have a serious situation here in Fairhope, Alabama right now, specifically in Baldwin County. Back over to the reflectivity product, and we'll put this in motion while I scan our feeds here to see if we see anything in the way of specific damage reports that we can pass along. Again, the Weather Service calling this a confirmed tornado over Fairhope, moving to the north at 25 miles per hour. On that trajectory, this is going to be an issue for Montrose and areas near Daphne imminently. If this holds its strength, and it looks like it is, this will be an issue ultimately for Spanish Fort and areas near Malbus. Bell Forest, you are included in this tornado warning. So again, be in that tornado safe place. No driving right now, no driving whatsoever on US Highway 98 from Spanish Fort all the way back down to Barnwell. That's the polygon that you can see here, and you don't want to be in that red zone, in that polygon. That's the worst possible place to be right now. And unfortunately for our friends in Baldwin County, That's what we've got going on with this tornado warning. Very heavy rain extends eastward as well over here to Loxley and Robertsdale and areas near Rosenton along Interstate 10. But this part of the storm is under severe limits. It's the western periphery of this large, comparatively large anyway, supercell thunderstorm. Here's the storm itself. You can kind of see a kidney bean shape right here. And on the far southern side of that hook echo is where we have a danger zone where we could have a tornado on the ground at Fairhope, moving basically parallel to the shoreline, coming into areas near Montrose, near Daphne over the next 5 minutes. So again, make it happen if you're in Daphne and get to a tornado safe place. If you know someone that may be totally clueless about the weather tonight, and unfortunately, again, as we know, there are plenty of folks who just, it's not that they're bad people, they just don't know and they're not paying attention. We need folks to pay attention when we have situations like this. And again, for folks in Daphne, please be in a safe place, as well as Fairhope and Montrose. Looking at this, this tornado warning technically does include areas near the Walmart Supercenter and the Daphne Dog Park back down to the core part of the Montrose Historic District. You've also got areas near the Rock Creek Golf Club, which is right in through here as well. No driving as well on 104, Alabama Highway 104 from Silver Hill, which is right here, all the way back over into Fairhope. You can't be driving on 104, can't be driving on US Highway 98. City of Fairhope should be totally shut down at this point. Again, I know we got a lot of, fun events happening out at all the eateries and the nightlife places in downtown Fairhope. All of that should be stopped. Everyone should be in the interior part of these buildings, away from windows, away from doors. We know that there was a tornado on the ground moments ago in Point Clear, specifically near the Grand Hotel. And again, just working this tornado warning that we have in Baldwin County. I should mention, as of 9:09 p.m., this is the only tornado warning that we have for any part of southwest Alabama or northwest Florida. I did get a message a minute ago from the Weather Service indicating they are doing something with this tornado watch. Yeah, they canceled the tornado watch for 2 Mississippi counties. Perry County and also Stone County are now out of the tornado watch. Harrison County is out as well. And so those counties have been cleared from the tornado watch back here in Mississippi, as again, this is your main line of thunderstorms right in through there. Once that comes through your hometown, you get an all clear. So that's the all clear marker for tonight. Once that moves through your area, you get an all clear. By the way, the severe weather risk overall is lower for northwest Florida, south central Alabama, Monroe, Conecuh, Escambia counties, lower risk for you. It's not zero, but it's lower than what we're experiencing right now, as this is kind of the zone south of a warm front where we've got a very volatile, moist atmosphere in place, capable of supporting these brief supercellular thunderstorms that could produce tornadoes. Again, zooming in real tight here to Fairhope and Daphne, along with Montrose, areas near US Highway 98. This possible tornado is basically at or on top of the intersection where 104 comes into 98. And so, again, 98, Gold Mine Pawn Shop is right here. Daphne, again, we've been calling areas south of the Target and the Chick-fil-A. If you live south of there, on or near US Highway 98 or near any of these beautiful places out here along the bay, we want you to be in a tornado safe place. This signature has kind of broadened out somewhat, which is a good thing, but nonetheless, there's still enough evidence here that we could have a tornado on the ground potentially doing damage. Again, just scanning our feeds to see what we've got going on, and the good news is at this point I have not heard anything specific in the way of damage in Fairhope. Obviously the thing is very near there right now, possible tornado. Watching this as it lifts off to the north. And again, this is coming into Daphne from the south. So coming into Daphne, let's go back over to our reflectivity product, and you'll see that the whole structure of this storm continues to push off to the north. I'm getting a note from the Weather Service as of 9:12 p.m. that we have a confirmed tornado over or just north of Fairhope, moving north at 25 miles per hour. And so I can just about tell you that we're going to have to get an extension of this tornado warning downwind into Spanish Fort, Malbus, and Bromley. Again, this is 225, Interstate 10, US Highway 31, US Highway 98. 181 would be right here. And so at Bell Forest, be sheltered. Same thing at Daphne. And again, putting you on notice in Spanish Fort. Be ready to take action to protect yourself as we have yet another tornado warning to your south. The Weather Service continues to call this a confirmed tornado on the ground very near Daphne and Fairhope, a highly populated part of Baldwin County. Let's go into our velocity source and kind of do a probe on this so that we can see exactly what we're looking at. The radar is estimating that we could have upwards of 70 mile per hour winds very near Daphne right now, coming in from the south. And the overall structure that we're looking at, this is the couplet or the counterclockwise circulation, the mesocyclone, if you will, of the tornado. So that's where the thing is, and it's pushing off just like that. And so on that trajectory, Daphne, Spanish Fort, Bell Forest, Malbus next. All right, so make it happen. Be in a safe place if you are in those areas. Zoom out across the region, and while I do that, let me check on our other storms that we have in progress across the region. I don't see any other immediate areas of concerns. Now, there are rotating thunderstorms offshore that appear to be weaker than the ones that we were kind of dealing with earlier. This one came off the Gulf of Mexico, and it's moved up the pike straight up Mobile Bay. You'll see it there. Prompted a tornado warning for Fairhope, Point Clear, where we did have apparently some damage that happened about 10 minutes ago now. We'll be able to get more information on that shortly. The actual text reads that there was a visual confirmation of a tornado on the ground near at the Grand Hotel in Point Clear. Possible power flash was noted. Our electric cooperatives and Alabama Power and all the power companies and electric co-ops across the region, they have these fuses on the power poles. People think they're transformers, but they're fuses in most cases. And when those pop, it produces a flash at night. And so that's kind of a visual confirmation when we see something like that, that something is happening. Now, obviously, you can't say just based on a power flash that it's a tornado, but in most cases, it is. And so that is what we had one person see down around the Grand Hotel. And let me stress, again, for folks in Daphne, you are next in line to see this possible tornado. I say possible, I'm so used to saying that. This confirmed tornado moving in from the south. And so again, for folks in Daphne, be in a safe place for the next few minutes. This is not going to be a deal that lasts for long. Some good news to pass along. If you are in Point Clear or Battles Wharf, or areas near Houstonville, south of Fairhope, will give you an all clear. Let's give it 3 more minutes in Fairhope. 3 more minutes. It's 9:16 now. Let's give it until 9:19, and I'll give you an all clear in Fairhope. Let's just put a timer on that. So 3 more minutes, and I'll be able to give you an all clear in Fairhope. If you're in Montrose or Daphne, stay sheltered. Same thing at Bell Forest along 181. This is Alabama Highway 181 right here. Let's go a bit to the north because I do want to talk about this area. Malbus, Spanish Fort, is out of the polygon as of this particular moment, but don't be surprised if we get a new tornado warning for Bell Forest and areas here near Spanish Fort, near the Eastern Shore Center, near the automotive dealerships, Eastern Shore Toyota. You've also got areas near the Whataburger, near the Greek Orthodox Church there on 181. Those are the areas that could be next in line to see this tornado pushing in from the south. we'll put this in motion so that you can see this storm originated down in the Gulf of Mexico, crossed the peninsula at Fort Morgan, and now it is coming up the pike right up the eastern shore of Mobile Bay. It's at Daphne at this point. We've got a polygon update to pass along. The Weather Service is still calling this a confirmed tornado near Daphne, pushing off to the north. And so again, if you are in Montrose or Belforest, you need to be sheltered. At this point, however, the polygon is now out of Fairhope. And so if you are at Fairhope, Alabama, I'll give you an all clear. So Fairhope, all clear. You are done with the tornado warning if you are in the city limits of Fairhope, Alabama. You can come out of that tornado hiding place at this point if you are in Fairhope and resume normal life. But if you're in Daphne, Montrose, or Belforest, you're not done. You need to stay sheltered in those communities, and we'll see if the Weather Service is going to decide to extend this to the north. I can't stress enough how thankful I am for folks that tag folks in the comments, that text your folks, that may not have a clue that this bad weather is going on. That means the world to me, because again, we want to get this information out to as many folks as we possibly can. The circulation is kind of holding its own. Let's go back over to the velocity view, high-res radar here, and I tell you, that thing is ramping back up right at Daphne. The Weather Service is noting that again, in their assessment, they're calling this a confirmed tornado moving off to the north, and so I suspect in the next few minutes, based on their last text and based on this signature, we probably will get another tornado warning, or at bare minimum, a severe thunderstorm warning downwind of this in Spanish Fort and in areas near Malvis. So again, the polygon's probably going to look something like this, kind of out ahead of that. And so we certainly don't want to get ahead of them. The Weather Service, they're the folks who issue the tornado warnings. We communicate that to you, but I suspect that's what's about to happen if this signature holds its strength over the next few minutes. Again, tracking a confirmed tornado in Baldwin County, moving off to the north as we continue in our live tornado warning coverage. Current time 9:19 on this Saturday evening. I'm meteorologist Spinks Meganson. On this Saturday, October the 29th, we are entering into the heart of our secondary severe weather season. It's going to be the next few weeks, basically until the end of the year. November and December are historically kind of more of an active period in terms of tornadoes across our local area. Spring is when we have the big tornado season, but we have a secondary peak in November and December, and so we're kind of getting a head start with that, with this tornado warning this evening in Baldwin County, and with all our tornado warnings previously. Got a new tornado warning that's coming out over the next few moments for parts of Baldwin County. And so this is going to be an extension of that warning. Let's take you back over to the big radar view and we'll show you who's going to be involved. We'll wait to see exactly who's going to be in that, but the Weather Service is going to issue another tornado warning for areas near Spanish Fort in the next few moments. And so if you're in Spanish Fort, your phone is probably about to make that noise that we never want to see, because again, there it is, new tornado warning for Baldwin County. That one's going to be valid until 10 p.m. local time. And you're just hearing all that noise in the background, getting out all our systems here to let our folks in Spanish Fort know that this is a new tornado warning that has just been issued for parts of Baldwin County. So first thing we need to do, let's tell you who's involved in this new warning, and then we'll go back to the radar. If you are in Spanish Fort, you are now under a tornado warning, and you need to be taking action to protect yourself as we have a possible tornado coming in from the south. So Spanish Fort, areas near Belforest, Daphne, remain sheltered. Same thing at on the north side of town, out here towards the schools, out here towards Spanish Fort Elementary School, Bass Pro, areas near Rouse's, areas near the Eastern Shore Center, Bromley, if you're near the Veterans Cemetery out here on 225, be sheltered. Same thing at White House Forks right here. No travel on Alabama Highway 225 from the interstate all the way back down to where it comes into 31 there at Spanish Fort. This thing has really ramped up in a hurry. We'll show you the radar on this because very heavy rain is happening right now across the Eastern Shore region. Again, just watching this very carefully as we have a possible tornado lifting off to the north. Let's go back over to our velocity view, and I tell you, that thing is mighty tight. That's not what we want to see over a very populated area as we deal with this new tornado warning, separate tornado warning from the previous one. If you're just now tuning in, current time is 9:22 p.m. Fairhope is out. You're not involved in the tornado warning anymore in Fairhope. Daphne and Bell Forest are in. Malbus, Spanish Fort, in. You need to be taking shelter now as we have this tornado that's going to be very near the Eastern Shore Center and Timber Creek. Timber Creek neighborhood sits right here on the north side of I-10. Be sheltered if you're at Timber Creek. Doesn't matter where specifically. Same thing out here on the eastern side of Spanish Fort out here toward David's Catfish House. You've also got areas out towards the broadcast towers, towards the schools on the northern side of Spanish Fort. Spanish Fort, be sheltered. That's the headline here on this Saturday evening as of 9:23 p.m. as we deal with this brand new tornado warning that's just been triggered by the National Weather Service in Mobile. By the way, the city of Mobile is not included, nowhere close to the city of Mobile. Causeway, not included. Bayway, not included. But basically from that first exit where you get off to go into Daphne and Spanish Fort off the Bayway, from that exit all the way back over to almost to, let's say, halfway between the Eastern Shore Center exit and the 59 exit. That's not very helpful, right? Basically at Malbus. This goes all the way to the east, all the way over to Malbus. Those are the areas under the gun from this possible tornado. This is right over Daphne and Bell Forest right now. This is about to cross US Highway 90. If I am at Home Depot or areas there near Taco Mama, I think you've got a dentistry, two dentistry places right in through there. You've also got a doctor's office. I think there's like a Bama Fever, Tiger Pride store in that shopping center. There's the grocery store, Fresh Market right there on the south side of 90. If you're anywhere near those places I'm talking about, Sunrise Dermatology, areas near the Eastern Shore Center. You've also got Eastern Shore Toyota near the interstate. Be in a safe place. Same thing on the north side, out here on 31, north side of Spanish Fort towards the schools, 225, Rouse's, areas here near, you got that coffee shop at the corner of 31 and 98 right there. You've got several businesses involved in through here, like Chick-fil-A. There's tons of little businesses right there at the Eastern Shore Center. You've got Olive Garden, you've got all those stores in through there at Eastern Shore Center and Timber Creek. You know what I'm talking about if you're in this area. Be sheltered now as this cell continues to lift off to the north. Possible tornado is going to be in the heart of that couplet right there. And looking at this is really going to be an issue for areas near the Eastern Shore Center and especially near Timber Creek. If you live near Timber Creek neighborhood, you better be sheltered right now. If you know someone that lives in the Timber Creek neighborhood there in Spanish Fort, be sheltered, all right? Make it happen if you are at Timber Creek as this thing is crossing Bell Forest and coming across 90 and across the interstate in a matter of moments. I would not want to be on I-10 over the next 5 minutes as this thing is barreling off to the north at a very rapid clip. And it's going to be coming into areas on the north side of Spanish Fort in a matter of moments. The reason we're kind of sticking with the velocity view, I'm going to change it over to the reflectivity view. Look at that. This is a mess. This is a bucket of spilled red paint. And what that means is heavy, heavy rain exists across this area. Do not try to step outside and see this tornado. You're not going to see it, I promise. Don't wait, all right? Just get sheltered. If you are at Malbus, Timber Creek, Spanish Fort, any part of Spanish Fort, Alabama, be sheltered now as the possible tornado is moving just like that. This is going to be an issue near the schools in the next few minutes. The Spanish Fort schools. Again, just watching this situation in Baldwin County very carefully, as this is our only tornado warning on the board as of 9:27 p.m. By the way, main line of storms currently moving through Washington and Mobile counties. This is going to ultimately move into Clark and Baldwin counties over the next little bit. And once this line passes through your location, you'll get an all clear. We are not there yet for really any community at this point in our region, but we're going to get there fairly quickly once this line starts moving across our local area. By the way, the overall severe weather risk is lower for areas farther to the east. This line is likely going to weaken as it pushes off to the east. The storms out ahead of the main line today have roughly been the problem today. This is our 12th tornado warning of the day, if that tells you how busy it's been around here. And again, for the folks in Spanish Fort, you are under the gun from a possible tornado that's basically at or near your community, crossing Interstate 10 at this point. Let's show you this on velocity. This really tells the tale right there as your possible tornado. And I don't want to get so specific. Those landmarks that I've been calling out, if you're in Spanish Fort proper, you do something about this. Does not matter specifically where you are. Anywhere in Spanish Fort, Alabama, let's make it happen and get to that tornado safe place. Let's go a bit farther south and kind of look at this, because the good news is we gave Fairhope an all clear about 10 to 15 minutes ago. Fairhope is down here. Fairhope is in the clear. I'm hesitant. I'm not going to give Daphne an all clear just yet, as we have some folks in this area that have a Daphne mailing address. And so let's give it, say, 3 to 5 more minutes in Daphne, and I'll be able to give you an all clear. Montrose is all clear. If you're at Montrose, we'll give you an all clear. So Montrose is clear. Fairhope is all clear. Daphne's not clear just yet, but we're getting there. We're moving there in about 3 to 5 minutes in Daphne. Let's go back over to our reflectivity source, and you'll see that very heavy rain continues in Bromley, near Blakely State Park, near the Veterans Cemetery out here on Alabama Highway 225. Thinking about this area, Crossroads is in. If you're in Crossroads, you are involved in this active tornado warning, and we need you to take shelter right now as we have a tornado coming in from the south. So again, looking ahead out of Spanish Fort, this is where the thing is headed. Blakely State Park, areas near Bromley. This is going to be near Crossroads in about 10 minutes. So take it seriously, do something about it, make it happen. Lowest floor, site-built structure, away from windows and doors. You want to put as many walls as you can between you and the outside world if you're in those areas that I just called out. Back over to the velocity view. And again, possible tornado is on top of Spanish Fort, Alabama right now, pushing off to the north. And it appears, you know, the circulation is now clearly at or just north of the interstate. And so what I can tell you is, if you are south of Interstate 10, you get an all clear. Daphne is all clear south of the interstate. So south of Interstate 10, you're in good shape. This is now an issue for areas to the north of the interstate, Interstate 10 that is, and we're watching this move into a less populated part of Baldwin County. But I can tell you, as someone who goes down 225 a good bit, there are plenty of people who live out here. The neighborhoods that have been developed over the last few years north of Spanish Fort are numerous in this part of the world. And so I think there's like $3 Generals on the road passing from Bay Minette back down to Spanish Fort. So if you live within 5 miles of the $3 Generals that are on 225, be sheltered. This thing is basically paralleling 225 just like this, and this is going to quickly be a concern for areas north of Spanish Fort, Alabama over the next little bit. Just looking at our sources to see if we have anything in the way of damage to pass along. By the way, if you live near Bromley Road, we would encourage you to be sheltered. If you know someone that lives on Bromley Road or areas near White House Forks Road there in Baldwin County, from the Dollar General all the way back up to really Bay Minette. You need to be in a safe place. Same thing if you are near the fire tower. You've got the Ben May fire tower in the middle of this tornado warning. You need to be sheltered if you live near that fire tower. Some churches out through here. You've got the White House Fort Baptist Church, which is right about here. This is to the east of 225. But again, everyone near 225, you need to be sheltered. Highway 225 in Baldwin County. As we continue to observe a possible tornado lifting to the north at Spanish Fort right now, pushing off to the north at about 25 miles per hour. So next in line, Blakely State Park, Bromley, the Veterans Cemetery out here on 225, Steam Mill Landing. Let's see if Hurricane is included in this. Hurricane Landing. Yeah, Hurricane Landing is included in this tornado warning polygon. So community of Hurricane and Hurricane Landing right here. If you are at the River Pub or areas near the River Pub, you need to be sheltered right now as well. You are involved in this active tornado warning. Bromley is in. Bromley Road right here is in the polygon. Be in a safe place. The schools at Spanish Fort on the north side of town, those schools are currently under the gun from a possible tornado right now. The thing is basically right over that area now, very, very near Spanish Fort Elementary School at the present point. Let's go back over to the iPad view and radar scope, and you'll see that this couplet continues to hold its own in terms of the overall structure here. Spanish Fort, the northern neighborhoods on the northern side of town, that's where we have this possible tornado. Interstate 10 is down here. This is US Highway 31 that ultimately becomes the Causeway. This is the Bayway. This has nothing to do with the city of Mobile over here. This is downtown Mobile. This possible tornado is pushing off to the north. Again, just watching this situation very carefully in Baldwin County as we had a confirmed report earlier of this thing doing some damage down around the Grand Hotel, and at this point we have not really seen anything in the way of damage specifically yet in Fairhope, Daphne, or Spanish Fort, or Bell Forest, or Montrose for that matter, but you know, it's early in the process. There may well be tornado damage. There may be a path in through here of a tornado that's happened, and you know, the reports are sometimes a bit slow to come in, although I will say usually, not always, but usually in a situation like this, we see reports coming in when a tornado is affecting a highly populated area. So again, not really seeing that at the present point. And again, longtime viewers and readers know, if I've said it once, I've said it 14,000 times. If I go silent, y'all bear with me. We have many, many things going on to monitor, and we just want to make sure that we're getting you the best and most accurate information possible as we continue to track this tornado warning in Baldwin County, now to the north of the eastern shore. And by the way, if you've been commenting on YouTube or on Facebook, I don't get to see the comments until after the feed, and so I don't. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see those when I'm up here in live coverage. That's one of the things I can't see. So we will get those a bit later. And so I say that to say, if you have questions, I'll try to get to those as soon as we finish. This round of coverage. Good news is I really don't see anything that suggests damage happening so far in Spanish Fort or Daphne, but again, we are very early on in the process, and for folks on the north side of US Highway 31, you are still in the danger zone. So again, this is 31 right here, Highway 31. This is 181 right there. This is Interstate 10. If you live north of Highway 31, you're in the danger zone, but if you're south of 31, we'll give you an all clear. Timber Creek gets an all clear. Eastern Shore Center gets an all clear. We are seeing now, we're getting a report of some damage coming in from Fairhope. Large tree limbs are being reported down in Fairhope due to the storm. Also seeing debris covering the roadway in Fairhope. Also getting a new bit of information from NWS Mobile. They are going to cancel the tornado watch for the Mississippi counties. So in other words, George, Greene, and Wayne counties out of the tornado watch behind the main line of thunderstorms. So that is, kind of what we would expect now that the severe weather threat has come to an end for the Mississippi counties that are covered by NWS Mobile. Possible tornado is on the north side of Spanish Fort, and it does look like that this is becoming a bit more broad. Usually what that means is the storm may be weakening a bit, and so that's a good thing. Hopefully this thing weakens down to the point that it goes away completely. And again, y'all just bear with me if I go silent. We've got new information that continues to trickle in. It is 9:38 p.m. One tornado warning for parts of central Baldwin County near Highway 225. Let's go back to the radar view and we'll show you the situation as it stands right now. We'll put this in motion so that you can see that the overall storm structure continues to lift off to the north. Keep in mind that your possible tornado is going to be on the western part of this supercell storm, moving it just like that. And again, we're watching this situation very carefully. The Weather Service is downgrading this, good news, and they are calling this now a radar indicated tornado as opposed to a confirmed tornado. And so watching this situation in Baldwin County very carefully. And again, tornado warning continues until 10 o'clock local time for Baldwin County, Alabama. We are watching this very carefully as, let's go back over to the velocity view if we can do that, so that you can see this circulation has kind of ramped down a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see if the Weather Service decides to cancel the warning, as this certainly looks a bit more broad than it once did. It's very broad at this point, and that certainly is a good thing. But I would remain sheltered if you are near Alabama Highway 225 over the next 5 minutes. Let's give it 5 more minutes. And hopefully we'll be able to give you a complete all clear in central Baldwin County. Tell you what, let's go back over to the reflectivity view. This is in motion. You can see that now we can give a complete all clear to Spanish Fort. If you're in Spanish Fort, all clear. You are done with severe weather, for now anyway. Main line of storms has yet to move through, but the severe weather imminent threat has come to a close for Spanish Fort and for Bell Forest and areas near the Eastern Shore Center. So again, all clear for Spanish Fort at this point. And I tell you, that signature has really, really broadened out. That is a great thing as we continue to track this possible tornado. Yeah, and I'm not seeing much in the way of information that's trickling out, and that often is a good sign. You know, if we have reports that damage is happening, that's obviously not what we want to see. We've seen that down around Fairhope and Point Clear, but over the last 5 minutes, things have kind of improved, and it seems like what we're seeing here is this storm may be weakening a bit. Let's zoom out across the region while we continue to focus on this tornado warning. Because look, here's your main line of thunderstorms that extends from Chatham and Milry back down through the Mobile Metro, all the way back down to Dauphin Island. Once that line of storms moves through your location, you're done for the severe weather event this evening. And so one more tornado warning as of now, and it does look like that this may be the final tornado warning of the evening, potentially as this line of storms continues working its way to the east. We have a situation where we're down to one tornado warning, one warning, and again, it's 9:42 p.m. I'm just seeing some more reports from Fairhope that we've had some tornado damage in that area, specifically with trees down and debris down on the roadway. Current time 9:43 p.m. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, and look, I realize it is inconvenient on a Saturday night to be sheltered from a tornado, but hopefully this is the last one. And for folks in Crossroads and Bromley, you're the last communities involved in this tornado warning. And again, I suspect the Weather Service is going to let this thing go, but let's give it 5 or 10 more minutes in Crossroads and Bromley, and we'll be able to give you an all clear. If there is a tornado down, it's going to be in this area near or just north of the Veterans Cemetery on 225, but the signature is just broad at this point. More likely, what's happening is we have a situation that this storm is probably producing damaging straight line winds and probably not a tornado at this point. This is moving into an environment that may be a bit less favorable for tornadic activity. But again, we're going to hang with this until the Weather Service gives us the final all clear in Baldwin County. Joined alongside executive producer Bentley Martin. Certainly want to thank her for her service this evening. And again, this tornado warning is on the board until 10 o'clock. So we've got 15 more minutes on this as this storm continues to push off to the north at about 25 miles an hour. Let's zoom out across the region. This is our 12th tornado warning in southwest Alabama and southeast Mississippi. Between these counties, we've had 12 tornado warnings today. I think 9 have been in Mobile and Baldwin counties. Obviously, that number's higher now that we've covered these two, so I think we're up to 11 in Alabama alone. Hopefully, this is the final one. I realize, again, it's inconvenient to take shelter from these tornadoes, but some good news to pass along. No new damage to report. It's nice to be able to deliver good news. And the Baldwin EMA director is telling us that we've got no new damage to report at this time. Lightning is being reported in some areas. I'm not sure if that means lightning damage or if he's just saying that these storms are producing lightning. You see your strike counter right up there. These storms are producing lightning, but the tornado threat obviously takes precedent over the lightning threat. And it looks like the Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning. So let's take down the banner. We are now without a tornado warning, at least temporarily. And let's kind of talk about what's happening across the entire region. If we can take down the tornado warning banner, because no more tornado warning, you can see that's gone from Baldwin County, but we do have a line of thunderstorms that's happening back here in West Alabama, specifically in Mobile and Washington counties. This line of thunderstorms is going to continue to move off to the east over the next few hours, and we do note that the atmosphere is going to become a little bit less volatile and less supportive of tornadoes over the next few hours as this line continues progressing to the east. Take me back over to the radar scope and iPad source, please, because we are watching an area of concern in southern Baldwin County near Gulf Shores. This is going to push off to the northeast, and we'll see over the next few minutes if we need a tornado warning for parts of southern Baldwin County. But at this point, no tornado warnings are in effect. I tell you, that thing south of Dauphin Island is also a bit concerning. Let's put that into motion. That may be a storm that comes on shore in Dauphin Island and produces a tornado warning in the next few minutes. So that's one to watch as well. Keep in mind, these storms out over the Gulf of Mexico are typically a bit stronger before moving on shore. And again, no active tornado warning as of 9:48 p.m. Let's go back over to LB1, please, ma'am. Because again, we're watching the main line of storms. Let me check out our inland communities. We really haven't talked much about inland areas tonight. Thomasville, Jackson, Grove Hill, even Monroeville, Excel, all those areas about to have a good bit of rain. Same thing at Chatham, Milry, Wagerville. Same thing in northern Baldwin County. This was our formerly tornado-warned storm. And this storm continues to move off to the north, but no more tornado warning. So again, all clear from the tornado threat imminently anyway in Baldwin County. All clear from the tornado thing in Baldwin County at this point. We're going to watch these cells as they continue to track to the northeast over the next few hours. Hopefully, we won't have any more tornado warnings to pass along, but of course, if we do, we'll come straight back on the live stream and in the Red Zone Weather app to bring you the very latest. I'm going to step off camera to end our coverage as, again, no more tornado warnings at this point, but if we have more warnings, we'll come back on Facebook Live to bring you the very latest. Hope you have a good evening. More updates coming in the Red Zone Weather app.
Be sure to find us across social media, and don't forget to download the free Red Zone Weather app and set up your customized alerts. Please support our Red Zone Weather sponsors who make our coverage possible every single day.